Okay guys, I'm back on the Mustang. Now I kind of showed you the other quarter panel when I was putting it on, what I did, how I fit it, and I told you, which I can only repeat over and over again, you hold it up there and you make sure it fits the wheel well to the outer wheel tub, and you make sure it fits all the back and all down below. So you saw that in previous videos, and if you're lost here, we'll go back and watch the video on putting a quarter panel on. So what I'm doing today is I'm on the other side now. I've got some tacks down on the bottom, I've got some tacks up in the door jambs, I've got her tacked across the back. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see these quarter panels originally, like I said, they were the cheap and nasty ones, but they came with the car. The owner just wants to use them because they came with the car. I totally get it. If you were going to put new quarters on this car, you'd buy the proper ones that go all the way up, but these are still good quarters, and luckily for him, he's got no rust up there anyway. Now these quarter panels originally come so they fold over and they actually join here. I do not join it here. I cut the quarter panel off, I go here, because it's solid across here anyway. Reason for that is, number one, when I do this, I've shown you many times, I will now cut 6 inches. That piece of metal will fall in, and I'll do a couple tacks, probably 3 tacks, and I'll cut another 6 inches, 3 tacks, cut another, until eventually this whole old piece that's in behind here falls down, and I pull it out through the trunk area, and then this is nice and flush butt welded. But the other reason also, besides being easier to cut along here than here, is that when you're going to do the bodywork here, as you can see, this is sloped. It's much harder to do the bodywork here, and as it continues along, it gets narrower, you know, and then it gets narrower. So if I would have left this lip on the quarter panel and left it here, the body man would have been trying to do all the body working up in here, and a lot of it would have been by hand. Where this way, I'm cutting along here, once it's all butt welded, he just runs a nice thin coat along here, runs over it for sander, primers it, then does his blocking all by hand, and away you go. So when it's done, it's going to look like this one that we finished. See? And there's barely anything he has to put on there. Like, I know you guys can't tell from this picture, but he's really honestly just going to lightly skim this. But he's going to end up sanding all this down anyway, and he's going to end up skimming most of it, because mainly when you're doing a car, you're going to skim the whole car anyway with a light coat, and you're going to skim it, and probably 75% is going to wind up back on the ground. It's the easiest way. You skim it, you sand it, it fills in your lows, and away you go. Rather than doing, you know, a little smear bondo here, a little smear bondo there, what happens is you sand that and it just doesn't work. If you skim it, you block it by hand, it works out beautiful. So today I'm going to start cutting and putting this on, and I'll kind of show you a little bit what I'm doing here as I go along. But like I say, you've seen it over and over again, but it's good documentation for the owner anyway on his car. And everything fit up in the wheel tub nicely. It lined up beautiful. You can see where I had to cut it out because these quarters never came with that piece. I had to use it from the other one. It's lining up perfect. The door gaps are gorgeous. It's kind of hard for me to get in here and film because I got the Camaro so close. So I can, you know, kind of show you from here. But we'll get in here and do some cutting, and we'll do some welding. So you can see how it just kind of, it's laying in place. Now you'll know, see how I've cut here? You can't weld here. You can't ever weld right to the end of your cut, because the problem is now when you're, so I started cutting back here and I cut to here, right? Now this falls in, look it, lines up. That one lines up. That one lines up. But now over here where it's cut, it don't line up. This is sticking out because it's hung up on this metal. So that's how you know when to cut more. When this starts not to cave in no more, he cut more, or fall into place I should say. Now if we can see underneath here, which I doubt we can, it's so dark. I can't get my hand under here. Oh, I'm trying to get, there it is. See? There's how much we're cutting off. See? And then you got to remember, as you're cutting, to keep pulling this away a little bit, because sometimes it'll stay up in there, and then you might end up welding, even though this lines up. The wire from the MIG may wind up going through and attaching to the old piece, and you won't get it out. So cut, couple welds, pull away, cut, couple welds, pull away, then you're going to have it all lined up. Okay? That's where we're at right now. Sometimes you have to give it a light little push in sometimes. And got a piece of metal right here. Okay, I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to get myself to work a little quicker here without you guys watching, because it's just quicker for me than to keep filming. Okay, so we're still cutting away here and doing our little spots, but what I want to stop and show you here, I wasn't going to stop, but I want to show you is, sometimes shit happens. Now, it's going to be very hard for you to tell, and this is how fussy I am. I don't know if you can see these are all level. This edge is starting to stick up a bit. This one's level, this is up a bit. You know why? Because when I did that spot, I didn't quite have it lined up there. But don't panic if that happens. All you do is take your trusty grinder with your cutoff wheel, where to go, right down there, and you just quickly go zip on that one, and you're probably going to have to get that one off too. From this point on, it's fine. If you only do this one, chances are it's not going to move too much because you got this one. So you're just going to zip those right back off and start over there. It's not that big a deal, people. If you mess up, it's only metal. Whenever you're welding, you're doing some spots, we've all done a few spot welds, just look away from the welds. For those people out there that are new to this, you think I'm welding without a helmet, I am, but you just look away, because for that brief little spot, I don't want the helmet, it's just, the helmet drives me nuts. I will put the helmet on when I go to finish welding. But now that we're done, I'm going to show you this. Okay, so, boom, 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 you can see that was where I had to cut that one. I leveled out now, it's leveled out here. There we go, people. Now we're going to put our trusty hand in here, and oops, here it is. And ta-da! Whoop! There's the piece that we cut out. Throw her there where she belongs. There we go. one quarter panel, tacked in place, ain't moving nowhere. Go around now, clean up, or go around and finish off your tacks. Remember, one here, one there, one here, one there, and go along as you do it. Doesn't hurt to have some air with you. Grab your trusty air hose, which I will do. I got my air nozzle up there, sitting on the roof. I'll do that, and then I got to finish doing all the plug welds in the door jamb and across the back, and then up in the quarter panel. So that's what's going on here. So there is how I line up quarters when I do it. That's just how I do it. Now, it might be a different situation if the car was rotten up to that lip and I couldn't have used it. Well, then we would have probably had to go onto the upper lip. Or maybe even then I would have suggested he got full quarters, because it would have been so much harder for the body man to get in there. But that's how I do it. It's worked out for me. Chances are pretty good you're never going to have a rotten quarter up that high anyway. But that's it for now. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to welding here.